Ayan. Mabuhay, magandang araw, magandang gabi, magandang hapon, magandang tanghali. Anyway, good day to everyone. So, this video is for my students who are taking up MICE or Events Management. So, with that, guys, before I start, I really wanted to um, say that all information which might be similar to other people's work or books, materials, whatever that is being published or has a certain patent or copyright, I really do not own such information. Ayan. At least may disclaimer kagad ako. And this particular video is for academic purposes and for my class and for those people who really wanted to, to know about a particular major tourism subjects or hospitality management subjects like events management class or the MICE. Ayan. So, basta, credits to all books, authors, publishers, or whatever who owns those information that might be similar to what am I saying. Ayan. Okay? So, let's start by saying we're going to talk about the general characteristics or should we say the general idea principles about events management or about events industry. Ayan, so let's start. Yeah. So as we define events, on our last video, we were able to say that events are those happening of a certain event, situations, ayan, or memorable scenarios, ayan, that you were able to remember because it is quite special to you personally or for others. So, when we say events, guys, there are a lot of things that we have to know about it, di ba? So, we are going to talk about its traits or characters. So, when we say the traits or characters of event, una, it is an organized or it is an organized situation in the sense that we organize special events, okay, that particular occurrence like birthdays, anniversaries, for larger events we have concerts, well, Olympics, ayan, pageants, yon. So there are a lot of things that we really have to know about it. So yun ang isang character of an event. It is an organized situation. Second, it might be that costly. Yan, medyo mahal or, well, depende sa inyo, but definitely you will be spending a lot of money if you really want it very special, very memorable, di ba? So, the more expensive it is, well, the more special it will be. Definitely, well, di ba, yung quality naman kasi when we buy something for that particular event or situation, definitely it will make it more special. But it will always depend upon the person to whom the event is dedicated, no? So depende sa simplicity or appreciation of that particular person. Ayan. So another character that I could share is that all of those men and women organizing the event are that delegated. They are delegated. We have people at the back of the event who are working 24/7 or even months or years organizing that particular special occasion. Ayan. They really wanted to ensure that no flaws, ayan, or problems that may arise during that particular situation. So, in a way, inevitable naman ng mga problems or downfall of a certain event. But definitely, with the right planning, with the right organizers that we have, di ba? Usually, mami-minimize or if not, definitely it will be what? At least will be solved or resolved, di ba? At once or during that particular event. So, we need a lot of well-skilled and very intelligent people and very hardworking people just to make it what? Very, very well organized. Well, some luminaries or professors would say isang araw lang yan pero ang tagal nating prepare. Yes, of course, conducting an event would entail a lot of, or a longer period of time to organize, because we really have to do the planning and then the organizing and then the execution of that particular event. And after executing that particular event, we really wanted to get the feedback. Ayan. So, after the event, we need the evaluation of those participants, ayan, who really enjoyed, sana, or who were able to experience that particular event, so that we may know what are the particular things that we really have to consider if we are going to conduct another similar event. Another particular traits that we have to include in a particular event is that it has so many risks, no? For example, we're going to organize a particular concert because we really wanted to have funds or fundraising activities. The downfall is that if it was organized during a pandemic, would you think it would be a very successful event? Malamang hindi. So, there are risks that we have to consider in conducting the said particular occasion. Ayan. Not only the situation itself, but also the financial, or what we call the money talks. I mean, money talks in a way that we have to look at the expenditures of both organizers and the other suppliers of a particular event, so that if ever man we are going to spend a lot of money, in a way we have this a little chance, or we really have to ensure ourselves that those money are going to, bring back more, ayan, blessings, di ba, or income, so that yung event purpose natin is duly duly materialized. Ayan. Well, another feature of a very successful event is that it is aside from the delegation, of course, we may consider that we have this so-called partnership among those people, di ba? So, we have the supplier or the event suppliers. Another thing is that we have this so-called event organizers, di ba? So, may supplier tayo, we have the organizers, and who else? Siyempre, we have the customers or we have the guests who are, looking forward that this particular event will be very successful enough for them. So, it is kind of a mutual partnership among themselves, di ba? There is a relationship between each and every party. So, dito sa particular event, at least we know that we have three main people, di ba, who are organizing or within the circle of the event industry. And one more trait that I could add up is that in conducting events, of course, usually events are generally, it is not really manipulated, pero it may generally be controlled by the government itself. Well, we have a law or what we call civil law that the government has the right to stop a particular event of rejoicing in case that we have certain situation na more of mourning dapat, di ba? For example, ngayon pandemic, alangan namang magkaroon pa tayo ng certain celebrations, di ba? So there are things that are being controlled by the government, and events is one of those particular things that is being controlled by the government. Ayan. So generally, ayan, uulit-ulitin natin that events are or should be memorable and should be very, very special. So pumunta naman tayo guys sa types of events or kinds of events or whatever na tawag dito, what we may call it, basta events may be categorized, ayan, so according to what? According to purpose. Well, First purpose, if it is for private reason in a way that you are going with your personal relative, ayan, or someone special. So, syempre gusto mo private moment. So, private event. But generally, events are public in nature. When we say public in nature, we are, man are social being, ayan, or human beings. Usually, we do events, ayan, to, mingle with others. So, publicly, we really wanted to share culture by culture, di ba? So, most of the events are public in nature. Ayan. Sure na. Next. Another category of an event is that according to number. So, probably for intimate events, you want it smaller in the number of guests. Yun nga, sinabi ko nga, if you really want it very private, how private it is. Pwedeng the whole of your family or with someone. So, depende yun sa number ng family members mo or numbers ng kasama mo. So, you may have the number of people with you personally, ayan. So, it depends upon the number who you really wanted to be with, diba? So, for larger events, of course, ando dyan ng Olympics, international naman kasi yon. Pageants, ano pa, maraming concerts, sobrang concerts, diba? So, they are mostly public in nature. So, social in a way that we really wanted to enjoy the company of more people as possible. Well, in other books, they would say that events might be categorized as what? Either public or private. When we say private, of course, yung kaninang sinabi ko, privately, sa inyo ngayon, within yourselves, but public. In addition to that, we may say that events are for profit or non-profit. Yan. For profit, usually concerts are for profit, di ba? Most of the organizers, ayan, or the sponsors would support an event which are what? Profitable on their part. For example, sponsor ka nga but you have something in return, di ba? It is a way of what? Sales or marketing your product in a particular large number of people. So that being said na sponsor ka nga lang pero you are earning in a way na indirectly, 'di ba? Part ka nung event itself. So when we say for non-profit, mostly these are organized by non-charitable, it is organized by charitable institutions, usually or private individuals who really wanted to come out in the open and organize something for the community, di ba? Parang Catriona Gray lang ang ganda, ayan. Sharing what life has to offer for free, di ba? Sharing knowledge, ayan. So, for example, neto yung mga bloodletting activity, ano pa ba, community outreach, di ba? So, those are particular non-profit events organized by good people, ayan. Pero syempre, good people din naman yung mga profit organizing people, ayan, na events. Okay, let's talk about impacts of these particular events. What are those situations wherein we are definitely be affected by these particular events na inorganize ng particular people or person, di ba, in our community? Well, definitely, in other books or authors would say we have this so-called, since we are organizing this particular event in a larger number of people, so we have this so-called social impact. And social impact in a way that we are exchanging thoughts with other people, ayan, friends, ayan, or um, former should we say well, acquainted ka na dun sa person, and you were able to, see him again, ayan. So namomotivate ka na, okay, I really wanted to join this particular event again. So socially, there is an impact, ayan, dun sa way of life natin, that it really makes us what? Feel that we are more human. Oh, hugs. So another thing that we are getting what affected by this particular event is that economically, well, specifically the government, of course, and the private sector organizing the events are have I mean they have particular share, of course, of this particular income, if ever man, di ba? In a way, we are paying for that particular event, and then there are taxes, di ba? In such payment, so that we may say that merong certain lawful enrichment on their part, di ba? So that is a way of paying for their hard work, ayan, for supporting that said event, or for organizing that particular event. Kaya economically saying that in a particular event, syempre, a lot of people would go there, and if a person would go there, di ba, sa tourism, that means a lot of people would spend their money in that particular place, di ba? So economically stating or saying that in a particular event, there are particular tourism activities, someone is earning in the right way. Ayan, in the right way. Ayan. So, sabi ko nga kanina, again, since we are in a pandemic stage, mostly events are controlled by the government, so it is quite well, private in nature, yes, but it's more of what? Political, or should we say there is a portion of the government that would control the staging of a particular situation or event. Ayan. Kasi we really have to abide with the protocols. We really have to be more tawag dito, more protected or more safe, di ba? Or safer in this challenging times. Kaya yes, some authors or luminaries would say that it is political in nature. Well, to add up for those traits, in some events, usually it is religious in nature, di ba? Mostly kasi, kung mapapansin nyo in our calendar, not only we are celebrating the days of our national heroes, but of course, we have certain religious affairs that we have to commemorate. So, in this juncture, I really wanted to emphasize also that some of our particular events or national events are what? They are religiously motivated. So, hindi lang siya talaga mostly socialized, political, but also, of course, in some manner or in some ways, they are religious in character. And of course, to add up, we could say that events are cultural in nature. Ayan. So, isa sa mga traits ng events natin, they are cultural in nature. Why? In some luminary, they would say that, when people meet up, di ba, hindi naman, they are mostly what? Talking with each other, exchanging thoughts, di ba? So, yung culture of that particular person is being transferred to another person because of that particular moment or that particular staging of the event. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng what? Ng exchange of thoughts, exchange of culture. So, events are what? Somewhat cultural in nature. Sure na. So, let's go na to another topic, which is the what are those opportunities? Ayan, opportunities naman in conducting an event. Well, of course, definitely financial. Nauna yan, ay, may financial. Why? Kasi, when we talk about the profitability of a particular event, 'di ba? So, papasok dito yung yung factor that there are certain opportunities that open in that particular staging of that particular situation, 'di ba? So, for example ulit, we have the guest or customer, of course, who really want, na stress na because of the pandemic. Ayan. For example lang. And because lifted ng pandemic, yehey, ayan. So, he or she really wanted to go out. Ayan. Go in a particular concert. Ayan. Organized by a particular person. For example, si A. Of course, kapag nag-pay si guest or customer ng concert kay A, benefited si A for organizing a particular event, of course. And then here comes A naman, who get some of the services or the components of a particular event na kailangan niya, 'di ba? In staging that particular moment, ayan, integrating everything in a particular situation. So, particularly paying those particular suppliers, well, every suppliers are benefited. So everyone has an opportunity to what? To a financial benefit. Diba? Ayan. So isa yon. Ayan. Another benefit is that, or opportunities that we were able to what? To have this so-called kanina nga, we have this exchange of thoughts, di ba? So, in a way, we don't know that we are kind of benefited psychologically, okay? In interacting with other people. Yan. Kasi, when we say something to another person, yung mga galit mo, for example lang, yung mga stress mo during the pandemic, it all comes, it all comes out, di ba? In just a particular situation or event, di ba? Ayan. Psychologically benefited ka because you were able to let things out, di ba? Ayan, sayaw mo na lang yan if ever that you really wanted to go into a concert or yan. Okay, manood ka ng sporting event. Oh, wow, di ba? So, there is a certain tickle of the adrenaline, kumbaga, na mas na-excite ka na, nawala na yung mga problema mo, di ba? So, psychologically, you are quite, in a way, benefited. Ayan. Second is that cultural benefit ulit. Kasi, culturally benefited ulit pala, sorry. Why? Kasi, when we say culturally benefited, we may able to learn from another person those good things that we may adopt, di ba? So, in that particular event, ayan, so for example, webinar, walang sawang webinar, ayan. So, yung ano natin, yung tawag dito, speaker natin were able to give some informations that is worth what trying, or you know, worth injecting into our daily life. So bakit hindi natin for good i-absorb yung mga magagandang bagay na natutunan natin in a particular event. So culturally, we don't know that we were able to what be benefited, di ba? Because of that particular exchange of culture or exchange of thoughts. Ayan. Okay, let's go now to other issues, ayan, that might arise during an event. So, in staging a particular event, hindi naman nawawala yung mga certain issues, of course. There would be, in some authors or luminaries would say that they are experiences some intellectual property issues, di ba? Well, sa mga game shows, ayan, definitely, may mga certain rights sa mga networks natin sa batas na we really have to consider. So, ang pag-stage ng a particular event ay hindi madali. Okay? It is not that very easy for an event organizer to organize a particular event which is very similar to a um, TV program kasi it might have a certain intellectual property right, okay, or rights, 'di ba, um, that might bring about during that particular staging of that particular event. Another issue that might happen is that there are some social media concerns that might arise, lalong-lalo na right now. We are having certain events organized online, di ba? So, there are things that we really have to consider in conducting that said event, in that particular certain event, and we are dealing with particular legal issues. Ayan. Not only on the uh, person organizing the event. Ayan. Well, definitely they also have certain issues. Legally, yes. Kasi it depends upon those participants that will be, included in the particular event. Pwedeng minor, pwedeng person with disability. So that they might have certain discriminations, di ba? So, we really have to abide certain rules and procedures in conducting that particular event. Another ano pa ba? Issues that might arise during a particular event. Issues of what? The way it is conducted. In a way na we are talking about the work ethics of a particular event, no? And the management that they are organizing a particular situation or occasion with a certain limitation of this particular issues lang. Ayan. So, they really have to respect others' opinion. Ayan. And, of course, syempre, ang regulation ng ating government, of course, hindi naman mawawala. In some way, we should also organize a particular event of with what thinking of the concerns of the international community. Syempre, 'di ba? In way kasi lalo na ngayon we are conducting events socially. So tawag dito certain issues might arise in this particular situation, 'di ba? Kasi nga tawag dito this might be broadcasted or shared internationally, 'di ba? Yun yung mga concerns. Baka mamaya there are some ethics or there are certain culture or customs, traditions that we were not aware of. Tapos na natin that we were able to to discuss in that particular event. So might as well we really have to look into certain ethical standards or rules in conducting this particular or specific kind of event. Ayan. So, to add up, we really have to look into the issue, of course, upon knowing the three major parties in a particular event, di ba? Yung customer or participant, the event organizer himself, and of course, the suppliers that are needed for that particular event. There are certain issue between the suppliers and the event organizer. Ayan. Or the event organizer between the guests. So, yun yung mga issues that we really have to to look into. But generally speaking, it's more of their obligations and contracts with each other. Ayan. So, dito papasok na yung may pagka-civil law or tourism law ang dating, di ba? But generally, no one should be what? General rule natin, no one should be what? Enrich himself at the expense of another. Yan yung golden rule natin, di ba, na sa tourism law. Ayan. So, if there are some comments, suggestions, recommendations po, you may comment or write it down below the comment box. Now, if ever that you think that this video is very helpful, maraming salamat. I am very happy that I was able to share this particular video. I really wanted to say again that all those informations are um, well uh, are not my property really. Well, there are some informations that came from my personal experiences as an event organizer. Ayan, so um, kakatok ako, credits to the owner of or owners of those information that might be similar or what similar or what kind of similar with the information that I was able to give you guys. But generally, again, speaking, this video is for my students, okay, who are taking up tourism and hospitality management. And of course, I am sharing knowledge for those people who really wanted to learn more, kasi I really believe that sharing knowledge is more of giving back, okay, to all the blessings that is coming, that I am receiving from day to day. Ayan, so good karma talaga. So with that, guys, I really wanted to commend again those authors and all those researchers, publications um, that are included in this particular video. So maraming salamat po ulit. And again, ito ang inyong Prof. Kiko, ayan, na nagsasabi na daig ng masipag ang matalino. Bye!